So, Andrew, we're here at the Auckland University, and you said beforehand that you should explain you have a Canadian accent. But, you know, this is, although it's Aotearoa Musical Treasures, you know, there's so much that makes music so special in New Zealand, and New Zealand's incredibly lucky to have you. So, where should we start with you? You're Canadian, and you can you remember the first time you heard music?
The first time I remember was Beethoven Fifth Symphony. I think it was a Vienna Symphony recording on LP back then. I'm old enough for that. And I just remember, I think I was 2 or 3, and I was just dancing around the room because I loved it so much. Yeah.
And your parents, were they
Not
musical?
at all. No. They saw a documentary on CBC, which is the equivalent of Radio New Zealand or whatever.
Yes.
That said, if your student goes into Suzuki and studies classical music, they're going to do better in school, they're going to be more focused. So they really liked that idea. So they signed me up as soon as I was born, and they wanted me to do piano, I think, first, but then the waiting list was too long for that. And then they said, oh, cello's too big, so let's make it violin. So that's how it happened.
So what age were you when you started?
4.5 with the, just the fake one with the ruler, nothing to break. And then 5, I started on the real one.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
Suzuki method.
Yes, and did you shine straight away, or were you?
Not at all. No, I was nowhere close to being a prodigy. A real struggle. I think my ears were always good, and I mean I wanted to quit every year, but my first teacher, Laurie Hill, was awesome. It's the reason I'm here now. And every year she said, "You've got promise. Please stick at it." So yeah.
So you wanted to quit?
Yeah, every year.
Did you lobby?
Until about age 13.
So did you used to sort of lobby when the time came?
Oh yeah. That's wasn't up to me.
So I'm glad it wasn't up to you.
Yeah, but
so,
the funny thing is that, I mean, once I got to high school, I started to like it, and then my parents said, "Oh, maybe you should be a lawyer or a doctor or something. I can't make any money in music."
That is really very, very funny. So at what point, was there a piece of music where you suddenly played it and you thought, this is for me, or?
Yeah, actually I remember, I think I was 12 and I was playing the Romanian folk dances by Bartok, and it was sort of the first time where I felt confident and comfortable doing it, like even just physically that it felt right, and emotionally it was finally starting to give back. I think that was one of the moments.
And when you hear those pieces now, does it give you a special feeling?
It still does, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So now, and did you start playing in orchestras early on?
Pretty early, yeah. I grew up in Vancouver, and it's called the Vancouver Academy of Music. Was great for young kids. Really outstanding training with harmony and counterpoint, music history, in orchestra as well from quite a young age. I think I was probably playing in string orchestra from maybe age 10, and then full orchestra maybe 13, 14. It's very, very useful. They used to get quite good conductors for a young kid student orchestra.
And then playing in the orchestras, was there a particular piece that just excited you greatly, or was it just everything?
No, I enjoyed everything. I remember the Brahms symphonies, the Tchaikovsky symphonies, the planets. I loved it all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, when you finished school, you disobeyed your parents and you didn't become a lawyer.
No.
So you went to music school?
Yeah. I started at McGill in Montreal, and then my teacher, Ani Kavafian, was leaving there after 2 years, so I followed her to Stony Brook in Long Island, New York. So I finished there, and then I did my grad school at New England Conservatory of Music in Boston. And then 1 year of a fellowship. It was a new program that Juilliard and Carnegie Hall were running, where they want you to be great performers, but also kind of, they call it like the complete musician, where you have to work on public speaking and teaching. So what they did there was they threw me right into a public school in Brooklyn with kids 7 and 8 years old that had never seen a violin before, and I just had to start them from scratch. And that was so difficult. I'll never forget that. It really made me admire early music teachers.
And you knew that you had no choice, that you had to do it.
Yeah, it's part of the program. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I was happy to do it, but boy, it was tough, real tough. Yeah.
So were the kids responsive?
Some of them, of course, it's
Yes.
always a mix. But I remember maybe the first or second class, I brought out the violins, explained to them what it was, and then some of them just started playing Piggy in the Middle, and they were literally throwing the violin somebody throwing it up and down trying to catch it. So how do you teach that? But you got to try.
So did you find a solution to that? Did you being taller, did you catch it?
It's a constant battle to get their attention and to make them want to do it. And I think I succeeded with some of the kids. You're never going to with all of them, but
yes,
yeah.
yes. And from that scary scenario, what came next?
After New York, I got a job with Montreal Symphony. It was assistant principal position of second violins. Really good orchestra, but it was fourth chair seconds. So I thought that was a great way to start in the professional scene because I was close to the front, so I could see how it works, but I only had to lead the second violins maybe 2 or 3 times a year. So it was kind of building up to where I knew I always wanted to go, which is a leadership position.
Yes. Yeah. Now, why did you want to be in the leadership position? Because I just interviewed a person in Australia a couple of weeks ago, and she said that some people are born to be leaders. Do you think that's?
Yeah, I don't think I had the personality of a leader as a young person, but because I loved orchestra music so much, and feel like being a leader you can have the most positive impact. That was a thought, but also my final year of high school, my teacher Jerry Stanek, my parents asked him, so what do you think of our son? Does he have potential in what can he accomplish? And he said, well, I don't think he's got what it takes to be an international soloist, but concertmaster is definitely within his reach. So that idea kind of always stuck with me since then.
Yeah, we have to thank our early teachers for their wisdom and so with the orchestra for how long? With the Montreal?
With Montreal 5.5 years. Yeah,
right.
2008 to beginning.
And you stayed in the same position, or did you?
Yeah, stayed in the same position the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you obviously in 5.5 years would have covered a huge quantity of orchestral repertoire.
Yes, and they're sort of known for the French and Russian music traditionally. And then Kent Nagenron was there at the time, so he was really into Beethoven symphonies and Mahler symphonies. So we did cycles of those as well, which was great.
Yes, and then what prompted you to leave there?
Well, like I said, I always wanted to be concertmaster, so it was I always had an eye open for advertisements, and then I saw the one in Auckland. Didn't know anything about New Zealand, but they were doing, you just send recordings, and if they liked it, they fly you out for a trial, 2 weeks, lead the orchestra, and also play a big audition. And I did that, and I just fell in love with New Zealand, with Auckland. So it was lucky. Good timing.
So when you said you didn't know anything about New Zealand, really nothing at all, just what you'd Googled.
Yeah, I know where it is on a map and everything.
Yes.
But, not much about the culture. Maybe Flight of the Conchords.
Fair enough. Yes. And you did the audition, and you've now. How long have you been in the position now?
It's been 9 years. I started early 2014.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was it easy to settle into the new position?
I mean, it was certainly easier to settle into Auckland because what a beautiful place to live. I love it here. Into the position, I think the playing aspects, I felt pretty confident about it, but the non-musical aspects of a concertmaster job, not as much. That was a steep learning curve for me. I'm not I wasn't traditionally the most social person, kind of networking, making other people feel really good about themselves. So that's something I've really been working on since then.
Yes, and obviously with great success. So,
I hope so.
and teaching?
Yes, I'm teaching here and there.
Yes.
I've got a 3-year-old daughter now, so I've tried to cut back a little bit. I think the most I've ever had was 6 students, and now it's down to 2. But it's just always nice to teach. It's a totally different challenge.
And tell me, your daughter, is she going to be playing a musical instrument?
I don't know.
Have you played at the Beethoven Fifth?
I did, yeah. She liked that. Yeah. Well, I don't want to force her on anything.
Yes.
So, I mean, she'll noodle around on the piano once in a while. We bought her a violin, so she likes to take it out and pluck the strings once in a while.
Yes.
But if she's not into it, I'm not going to force her. So far, she seems to be more into movement. So she loves dancing to music or doing ballet or soccer. So maybe she'll go that way. I don't know.
Yes.
So
And solo playing. Do you have the opportunity to do much in the way of solo playing?
yes, I've been really lucky here. I do a concerto either every year or every other year.
So do you get to choose the concerto yourself, or?
Well, when I started, not so much, but APO's been really great about letting me choose more recently. So it's a really honor to do the Ligeti in 2018. I think it was 18.
And how long has it been your ambition to play the concerto?
Since I saw the movie 2001, probably. Yeah, as a teenager.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic music.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how long did it take you to learn that? Is it a long time?
Yeah, longer than most.
Yes.
I think I've probably spent a really dedicated 3 months in the summer, really focusing on it. It's a beast of a piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, everyone watching this will now want to go and listen to it, which is fantastic. And so, what's the next concerto? Do you have another biggie coming along? Do you have another beast?
I have something in mind. I can't say what it is yet, because we don't launch until later. But I think it's quite exciting, and it might be a Southern Hemisphere premiere. Okay. So that'll be great. And it was really lovely to be able to commission a concerto from Dame Gillian Whitehead. It was a couple of years ago now. Yes. Actually, it got delayed once or twice because of COVID. Yes. But we finally did it, and that was the first time I've commissioned a concerto. It was a real honor.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely fantastic. So today, this Saturday afternoon, I'm just wanting to know, what percentage Canadian do you feel and what percentage Kiwi do you feel? Because for myself, I live in I'm a Kiwi and I live in Australia, and it's anyone who does that, it seems like a highly desirable thing, but you feel pulled in all sorts of directions, don't you?
I do. I mean, my accent is still 100% Canadian, but
do you feel 100% Canadian living in
No, not at all. I've sort of, as you get busy, you get a bit out of touch with the music scene and even the politics and everything. So, I mean, culturally and just lifestyle and everything, I definitely feel closer to New Zealand now. I got my citizenship last year. I'm dual citizen. That's cool.
Oh, that's wonderful. And does your music teacher, who said to your parents that you would be suitable material to become a leader, does he know that where you are now?
He does. Yeah, I just emailed him the other day. Actually, I mean, he knew long before that, but I tried to keep in touch. I think so. He's really happy about that. All my teachers are really happy about that.
That's great. And going back to those early teachers just really are so important, aren't they? But sometimes they don't get the acknowledgement that they should, but it's...
No, it's true, the early ones especially. And my main teacher in high school for 4 years, Gwen Thompson, incredible history. She studied with Gingold, Galamian, and Heifetz, and she had all Heifetz's fingerings in lessons. It's like so grateful to have that from a young age. Yes. Yeah.
And you're still a young man.
Oh, thanks
no, you are. You are. But I mean, for music students now, there is so much information available at their fingertips, which was not available when you sort of first started. But I mean, it's just, you can watch masterclasses with so many great people.
It's amazing. It's maybe too much overload.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I wonder.
Too many ideas, but.
Yes. I mean, I wonder that. I think it was precious when you had to dig to find it.
Yeah, I remember talking to the Emerson Quartet who were at Stony Brook when I studied there, and playing bar talk for them, and they said, "You guys learn this so quickly now and play it so well, but when we were learning it, there just about no recordings, so and it's totally new music. We're doing it from scratch. So it's very different today."
Yes, I sort of maybe fortunate to be the first footsteps on the moon rather than the second footsteps. Andrew, look, I know you're a very busy man, but thanks very much for doing this interview today.
Oh, my pleasure. Nice to talk.